What's going on, everybody? What's style? Brian Saff here with another NRW checkpoint. Brian, how you doing today, man?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We've got a lot of handheld news today.
We do.
Yes, Brian. So you said we were talking earlier. The rumored Xbox handheld has been delayed. What's up with that?
So I had to continue digging, right? The Asus one that we've been discussing on the show lately, that
Yes.
one is still a go. That's a partnership with Asus. They've already confirmed it's coming out sometime this year. Well, the plan is for sometime this year. They haven't necessarily announced it, but we've been seeing the specs and everything is coming.
Right.
Xbox was reportedly working on their own just first party handheld Xbox to partner with the Series X and what was rumored to be coming out in 2027.
Hmm.
So apparently there's been some internal documents that have leaked that have pretty much said that Xbox is shelving that for the time being so that the Microsoft team can focus on improving the Windows 11 gaming experience. So we're still getting the Xbox slash Asus handheld that they've been well, that's been leaking all over the internet for the past couple months or whatever. But the first party Xbox only dedicated handheld has been, they're saying sidelined for now until the team finishes improving the X or the gaming experience over on Windows 11. So delayed, pushback, sidelined, yes, for the original or the first party Xbox handheld, but the Asus one that we all are looking at still coming.
That's absolutely heartbreaking.
Is it? You've been waiting for this?
When I heard that announcement, I was like, wait a minute, a handheld that could literally play my 20 plus year old game library and
Yeah.
games. Yes, sign me up. Like that
Yeah.
would literally be my dedicated system.
That makes sense.
Literally.
Yeah, I understand that.
That is something, again, I knew it wasn't coming out like this year,
Right.
maybe next year. Uh,
Right.
but the fact that that was something they were working on and
Hmm.
was coming out with that for me is amazing. And I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure anybody who is, you know, had an Xbox for more than a generation or two, that is something that is really enticing.
I can see that, especially because this pretty much confirms it by this document or this news leaking out that they are sidelining it for the time being. That pretty much confirms that they are definitely working on one, and it's not just hearsay or rumors and everything. So I don't know. Xbox users, we still got stuff to look forward to down the pipeline. The Asus handheld, I feel like it's going to be solid. We talked about this on the show before, especially if Windows or the team at Microsoft is working on improving the gaming experience on Windows 11. I can only imagine that that would trickle over to an actual handheld PC. So I think you'll still get a good handheld. It's just if you're looking for the first party joint that's going to play, like you said, your games from your Xbox library. Maybe 2028, 2029. I don't know. How long they gonna be working over there on Windows 11 before they got to put out the next Windows?
I don't know. But the disappointing part of it, of all of this is, they have Windows, not Windows, but Xbox Anywhere, as far as
Mm-hmm.
select games, you buy them on one platform, you play them on all. So
Okay.
you have access to the PC version, you have access to the Xbox version, and that's great, especially for first party titles.
Right.
But over the years, like you've had more and more third parties, but not a whole lot. Like literally, I can go on my PC right now and look at the ones that I own, not like on Game Pass, just of all of the games that I own. And I think my library, just for what I own, not including Game Pass or even Xbox Live Gold games, is like 273, right?
Okay.
Total.
Yeah.
I go into my PC here, there may be a total of 12
Okay.
that I play anywhere.
Big difference.
So yeah, it's a very big difference. In this is why I say Microsoft was really forward thinking, but the industry wasn't.
Hmm.
Because realistically, this is, and they're like, I think they're like, this really started with Xbox One. So the other stuff with previous generations, no. But if Xbox One was still what, 12, 13 years ago. No, I think it's what Xbox One and PlayStation 4 dropped, what, 2013, around that
Yeah,
time.
that,
So
yeah.
you're talking about 12 years ago.
Okay.
We have 12 years worth of games where they could have been implementing that Play Anywhere and then got to a position where they would have been able to put out a handheld like that, have that Xbox interface, and be able to access all those games. But right now, everything's bifurcated. Now, if this development of Windows 11, the gaming side, to make it lighter and slimmer, because I've been seeing Windows 11 get trashed. Um,
Yeah, I
with,
haven't made the
with
jump myself.
well, no, but with Valve basically releasing Steam to anybody, SteamOS, anybody wants to put on a handheld,
Mm,
a lot of people have been putting on a handheld, and there've been, especially with the Legion Go S, there have been people that are doing like comparison tests of battery life, frame rates.
mm.
Windows 11 is getting trashed by SteamOS and
Wow. Okay.
any major benchmark.
Mm.
So if they can fix that, but also find some way to include emulation, so that way you have access to
Yes.
the libraries on the Xbox, just on the console side of things. That's
Mm.
going to be difficult, I'm sure,
Definitely.
but it's possible. There are emulators out there to do it already, so it's just a
Right.
matter of making sure that gamers have access to the libraries. I think if they're able to do that, if they're able to do that on the software side instead of coming off on hardware, then I'm okay with that.
Okay. That's
But
fair.
it is upsetting news because I think that yes, we've had our calls with Microsoft.
Hmm.
One thing they're doing more than anybody else is making sure you have access to games that you purchased.
Yeah, definitely.
The fact that I'm still playing 360 games, Xbox Live Arcade games that I bought 2007. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're pushing on like those games are 20 years old now since I bought.
Yeah.
So it's just I'm getting old, but just the fact that that is like the case is amazing. You, I'm not sure. Can you do that? I know PS5 has some backwards compatibility, but
Mhm.
there aren't like PS2 games you bought that you can still access on your PS5, are there?
Not to my knowledge. I know, I don't know. They've been trying their best to like upload all of those games to PlayStation Plus. And then so obviously if you have PlayStation Plus, you have access to those games. Because remember, um, it used to be a PlayStation Now
Right.
thing, and that was like the oh yeah, we're reaching back into the archives and giving you games from PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 era. So when they merged that into PlayStation Plus, they kind of expanded that, but no, at least not to my knowledge, I don't have a way of going back to PlayStation because I don't even know if you could buy PlayStation 2 games
Yeah,
digitally
that's
back.
that's what I'm wondering. Like, is it just you have access? Can you actually purchase, or like your purchases that you made back then are still active? And that's what I'm like wondering about. And I think Microsoft is the only one that really does that
Yeah, to
on the
my knowledge,
console
yeah.
side. On the
Right,
console
right,
side,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, because I don't. I mean, that would be great, but then, I mean, yeah, that would be great.
I don't think as a consumer, there's no downside to accessing games. There was some things that have been delisted, but you still have access to them because you bought them.
Right.
Just the fact that I can go in and buy, or the fact that I bought Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Adventure 1 way back on my Xbox 360, and I can still download it and play them today. And again, that's because I love my Dreamcast. So
Right.
because but I know that I bought those games fairly early on in my time with an Xbox 360. So that's how I know like those are probably some of the earliest games that I bought. And the fact that those are still there, the fact that I can still play like Xbox games like Jade Empire,
Mm,
what else? There's a bunch of other original Xbox games I have. But even you can still buy Knights of the Old Republic.
mhm.
All those things you can still purchase on the current iteration and theoretically going forward. Um, being able to have a handheld that you can literally purchase, not just get access to games from by the time it comes out, 25, 30 years of gaming.
Right.
It's amazing when you think about it.
That's very amazing. And to your point, I think a lot of people actually really want that
Yeah,
because I'm thinking about it myself and I'm like, there's a there's a way to do that with PlayStation, but it's not like, oh, I own the digital copy of the game and I could just
right.
keep porting it with me.
Oh,
Right. Yeah, right. It's more so like I was saying, I have to go on PlayStation Plus and like see if they have the game in the store. And then if I have the tier of PlayStation Plus that'll allow me to stream the game, then I could stream it. But there's no buying and download or whatever. It's literally like I could play it from the cloud, basically.
right.
Which is I've done that before,
Yeah, there's
which
nothing
I've
wrong with that,
Sony,
but you can't own it.
right. Yeah, you just
But
you
so
pay your
you
PlayStation
can't
Plus
buy a
fees.
license for it.
Right, according to Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's everybody. Speaking of Nintendo,
Speaking of,
so and this is just something I saw today online. There are at least one person that got a Switch 2 before June 5th, which is really just next week, which is really
right,
um and there was video because Nintendo don't play.
absolutely
The
not.
copyright strike, but the
We
video was
just talked
dropped.
about Power World last week.
Right.
Yeah.
Essentially, there is a patch that has to be downloaded for the Switch 2 on launch day in
Mm.
order for you to be able to play it. Now, this is the thing, right?
Hmm.
One of the things in the conversation of the video I saw, they were talking about they didn't know if that was what activated backwards compatibility because obviously you didn't have a Switch 2 game. So the
Right,
person
right, 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 right.
put on the Switch 1, put in the Switch 1 game, and it would not play. It said it needed a patch. So
Okay,
maybe that's for to activate the backwards compatibility part of it to play Switch 1 games.
that makes sense.
Either way, it needs an internet connection to play games initially.
Mm.
Were did Microsoft not get lambasted for that when it announced the Xbox One?
It did.
Yeah, they
It
did.
did.
Now look at where we are. There are people like, oh, well, you gotta have an internet connect. Well, everybody has an internet connection. I'm like, that's the same thing they said 12 years ago
Hmm.
or
I
13 years ago.
remember that.
Like, that's the exact same thing they said. And I find it funny because it's Nintendo that they're like, okay,
Yeah, something. Nintendo just been moving funny.
yeah, they've been moving funny. But they've been giving them a pass though, which is my
Mm.
problem with that. So
Right,
it looks like there's going to be a patch for the Switch 2 on day one, which at least allows you to play um, Switch games. We don't know if it's games in general, but if this is true, now again, this is one person.
right.
But if this is true, then I think a lot of it's going to be going to retro games and calling it a day.
I listened to T like explain the story. I think I don't know. That makes sense that it would be like, oh yeah, you have to download a patch on June 5th or whatever to do a backwards compatible type of situation. But it's also I can also see it where it's been like this is a fail safe. Like obviously they don't want anybody speaking on the game and or you know what I'm saying they don't want people doing this thing where they like oh yeah I got my Switch early and I'm playing the games and doing all other stuff like but they wanted everybody to have it at the same time and be able to participate in the fanfare all at the same time or it could just be something where Nintendo's like you shouldn't have the game right now so you're not going to be able to play
I
it.
under everything you say makes sense.
Mhm.
It's just the point that we're at a position where they can do that.
Right, right,
That's
which
the
is crazy.
the amount of control that they have on what we do on systems that we purchase and
Hmm.
games that we buy.
Right.
That's the crazy part of it. It's not like you're reverse engineering the Switch 2 to make your own or make a copycat.
Right.
99.99999% are never even going to think about that.
Right.
0.00001%, they think about it. Most of them not going to do it.
Right. I
You,
wonder if he had any like Nintendo or Switch 2 games to play.
no, he didn't. That was the thing. There were no Switch 2 games.
Oh, okay.
It was just
So I don't know. He might have been able to load up a Switch 2 game and be okay.
yeah,
But
that's the question, but we don't know that yet. But the fact
yeah,
that they have that much of a control over what we do on the systems that we purchase and the games
yes.
we got a license for
Mhm.
is crazy in this whole Switch 2 situation. It just it's more egregious in my opinion than anything we've really seen. And I don't think Nintendo is getting the flack they deserve.
No, they not. And when I don't know, they probably not getting no flat because we probably wouldn't know about this if that boy had not gotten this Switch early.
True, that's very true.
Yeah,
But we do
but still at the same time, I agree with what you're saying. Like if I'm what how much is the Switch to? 550 for us?
I thought it was 449.
Yeah, either
499.
with
Yeah,
plus tax,
yeah,
tariff and
yeah.
all that. If we paying $500 for a Switch and $80 for the Mario Kart, I need to be able to play that whenever I want to.
Yep.
Just pop in my cart and be done. Like I don't shouldn't have to. Oh well, you got to be on the internet. Well, yeah, if I want to do online play, but it's I don't have to race niggas
Exactly.
online. I could just drive the cars in the game. I need my stuff to work. I don't. That's why I don't know. It feels like the industry itself was trying really, really hard to push people away from buying physical copies of games, and it's worked for the most part. I haven't bought a physical game in I don't know how long, and I think my last physical game was actually a Nintendo Switch game. But I don't know. I like that they still saying, you know what, we still gonna make the disc or whatever. But then you got that thing like what you talk about. Oh, you put the disc in, and it's like, oh, we got to download
Yeah.
24
Yeah. It's
gigs
not
of
really on a disc, and
or
that's what I
I'm
hate.
like, what?
What was
But
the point of buying a disc?
right. The gaming space, man. I think you're right. In a couple years, game is going to be one of them hobbies where it's like you got to have not you don't have to have money, but you got to be comfortable with
No,
the
no, you have that
amount of
money.
money.
It's getting more expensive. Even
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. You have to be comfortable with the amount of money you're going to
yeah,
spend and participate in this hobby.
yeah. Speaking of gaming, let's get into some new games this week.
Good.
First up is Pick Me on the PC. This is actually from Optolusion. I interviewed them at PAX East, so I
Okay.
got to interview the lovely Kimmy and team there, and they gave me a bit rundown of the game. So the brief rundown is all on website style and whatnot. The full video will be out eventually. But Pick Me throws you into the battlefield of love, where you face off against a friend to charm quirky AI characters powered by a large language model. Play your cards right to outflirt your rival to score the perfect date. Embarrass yourself or fail to impress, and you will get kicked to the curb.
Damn.
So it looks like a very fun and energetic game. We're going to be watching the trailer, obviously.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's kind of like one of
next up,
them mobile games where you like controlling the story of love and passion.
yeah, but it's like a you can play verses to try to charm the person too, and again,
Okay.
you're trying to charm AI.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
When the trailer drops. Let's
Yeah, we'll watch that shortly. But this is
Mhm.
the big game for the week: Elden Ring, Nightrein.
Which okay.
PS5, Xbox One, S, X, and Switch. Elden Ring Nightrein is a standalone adventure within the Elden Ring universe, crafted to bring a new gaming experience. Join players from other, join forces with other players to take on the creeping night and the danger within. And that's on everything but the Switch. But I would have no doubt we'll hear for the Switch 2 sooner or later.
Definitely.
Hell, we don't even know what the launch titles are.
For what? Switch
Yeah,
the launch title?
titles.
Oh, Mario Kart World and
Yeah,
Donkey Kong Country? Did they? I
was,
don't need
was that
right.
was Donkey Kong a launch?
Um,
They just I thought yeah, but anyway,
you're
we
right.
don't know what titles are launching on Switch 2. Like we know what
Yeah.
titles are coming. We don't know
Yeah.
what's available launch day.
Interesting. I have to look that up. Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah. All right,
What's
and last up is Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo on the PS4, 5, Xbox Series, SNX, Switch, and PC. Tighten up that string, bust out the yo-yo moves. In this 2D top-down adventure, you'll explore a sprawling urban, not Erling. We're
yeah.
not the context where we're Erling. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all don't. Anyway, um, explore a sprawling urban landscape, reinterpreting your surroundings through your mastery of yo-yo skills. So we're doing a walk the dog, we're doing around the world, we're doing all this stuff. All right,
Listen,
cool. Solve puzzles, fight the
Yo-Yo
city's
days
rival
was
crime
great.
lords, and regain the influence of the Pipistrello family. Oh, I gotta see the trailer for this.
Right.
I am intrigued.
Me too.
And
Before we get into the
yes, sir.
trailers, I looked it up.
Okay.
They're saying 24 games at launch. Yeah, 24 games. Cyberpunk, Hogwarts Legacy, Mario Kart World. They're gonna have a bunch of
Okay. Is Elden
Civilization
Ring
7. Split Fiction,
is,
huh?
is Elden Ring there?
Elden Ring, no. Nope.
Because I know it was at the
Think
showcase. So
really.
yeah.
I think
I
that's
believe,
gonna come later.
yeah. That's interesting. It's gonna come later considering this the Switch launches a week after the game drops. So I'm surprised it isn't a launch title.
The hell is Elden Ring's Tarnished Edition?
Oh, maybe that's what it is. So it's another version of Elden Ring.
Okay. Well, yeah, that says it's coming out in 2025 though, but not at launch.
Okay, well,
But what the hell is a Tarnished Edition? Is this the original Elden Ring? What
yeah,
a
I think it's a new edition of the original Elden Ring.
okay. All right. Trailers.
Okay. Yeah, let's check out Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. Ooh, I like this. Yo-Yo video. I love how different this looks. This looks like nothing else I've seen.
Yeah. Very nostalgic, but like feels fresh at the same time. Obviously, it's the graphic, but this look cool though.
Yeah, it does. It really
Okay.
does. All right. Next up, we have Elden Ring, Nightrein.
Nightrein. Already pissing me off. The game not gonna look like that. It should, but this is definitely a flash cutscene.
The Nightfarers. The will to cross the endless night and fight on. Till every shred of their being is ground away.
and I think it's the four-player dynamic. When I see RPG like this, it's always that dragon. One of the first things it always brings up Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I don't know. One day I might sit out and give Elden Ring a little
I feel
try.
the same way.
Yeah, because every time I see somebody, I'm like, this look kind of cool.
Yeah, but this is a cooperative play, so I think up to 4 players online.
Okay, that's even better.
It always reminds me, like when I see stuff like that, it reminds me that that first boss in Phantasy Star Online, they're like playing it the first time, and you got a whole party of 4, and everybody's whacking away at the dragon. Like it just reminds me, and that brings up most of the memories. So it looks pretty cool to me, especially if a kid. I think bring that fun and that not so much ease of play, but that level of play where anybody could just jump in.
Yeah.
I think that I hope it lends itself more to that than the sort of crushing sort of gameplay of an Elden Ring or a what was the other game that they do? Dead Souls or whatever it's called, I forget. But yeah, so looks pretty cool though.
It does. I'm interested.
Now we're going to date some AI and pick me.
Uh-oh. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Okay.
I'm thinking about it, and it's a really cool premise.
It is. It is.
So I'm sitting there thinking like you have like say, I have one of my dearest closest friends, and let's just say I could put this. He is very good with the opposite sex.
Okay.
So much so that my mom has a very specific name for him. You can kind of guess what it is. So, but my point is, like, you can like compete with your boy to see who can woo this AI person. Like, there's a competition, but not just that. The game is never the same because of the generative AI. So you're always going to have a different play experience. That's
cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
it is. All right. Yeah, pick me. Okay.
Yeah. Just talking with Kimmy and crew from Optilusion, they're very excited about the game. So I hope it does well.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right. So that's it for the games week. Brian, what's going on with you, man?
Nothing. I'm preparing to travel, and that's my focus. I might record an episode for the podcast. I've been seeing, everybody in court or on trial or in jail trying to get out. So I don't know. I may talk about it. I've been seeing some stuff. I'm like, this is weird. Let's talk about it. But I'm not too pressed about it. Other than that, like I said, I'm just getting ready to travel, and it's getting hot outside. So
yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm busy. I'm outside trying to enjoy life before it's over with. What about you? What you got going on?
Well, I'm not outside at the moment. I've been outside a lot, so I'm kind of
you have
at the moment.
You have.
But as of this recording, my interview with adult star Zaria R dropped. So the video is on YouTube. The audio is on YouTube podcast, but also Spotify, all that jazz is episode 188 of the Sortorian Geek podcast. My continued coverage of BlerdCon is dropping as well. I have no idea what dropped yesterday, but it's something every other day.
Yeah, okay.
Dropping
Yeah.
on YouTube. So like I said, just at PAX East, went to ECBACC weeks ago. So I think I'm chilling on cons right now, so I have a lot of content to finish. But the BlerdCon stuff is coming out, and then next week, I'm blinking who else I in. Oh, how did I forget? Okay, so next week, Melanie Mellons is
okay.
So the audio and video will be up next week as well, in addition to my continued coverage of BlerdCon. And all that will be found on YouTube, websterstyle.com, and you'll see clips, pieces, and maybe full videos on various other social media sites as well. But you're currently, you know where you are, nerds of the world. There's something every day here.
Right.
Every day. Boom, boom, boom,
but
boom.
Have you had time to play Expedition 33?
I've played the prologue. I haven't played much more of that yet.
Okay.
But I have a lot more time in my hands. And also Grandia 2, Grandia double pack was on sale.
Okay.
So that was $20, and Grandia 2 is like one of my favorite RPGs of all time. So I started Elden 2.
Yeah, okay, good.
So yeah, backlog never stops.
Understood.
So yeah, I started playing that again. So I'll get back to Expedition 33. I'm reliving being in my college apartment on my futon, grad school, playing Grandia 2 on my Dreamcast right now.
Understood. That's fun.
You know, you're at Nerds Rule the World, content every single day, interviews galore, trailer reactions, you name it, it's here. Make sure you continue to rock with us. Follow us on the social medias owned by billionaire people. I'll say that. Twitter at the NRW, Instagram at New Release Wednesday, and of course you're on YouTube. Make sure you like, you share, and give us a subscribe.